The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Well, we're not going to be talking about cheeseburgers in paradise this hour of the X-Zone. We're going to be talking about proper dieting and superfoods with our very special guest and our in-house natural health expert, the one and only Dr. Nance McLeod. And for those of you who missed Nance's first appearance with us here on the X-Zone, Dr. McLeod has been working with natural medicine since 1979 and is one of Canada's leading specialists in the field. She operates clinics in Virgil, which is near Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, and Southampton, Ontario, and teaches through the Ancient Journeys School of New Medicine. Dr. McLeod is the founder of Young Forever Facial Rejuvenation, Young Forever Natural Medicine Physicals, Quantum Matrix Therapy, Pain and Stress Relief, and Egyptian Head and Neck Massage. In the year 2004, Dr. McLeod was honored with the Order of Excellence by the World Organization of Natural Medicine for her scientific work and dedication to natural medicine, and for her work at Clinics for Humanity. Here's the magic telephone number to arrange for a consultation with Dr. McLeod, 905-468-9041. That's area code 905-468-9041. And you can find out more about Dr. McLeod on her website at www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. That's www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. Dr. McLeod, welcome back to the X-Zone. How are you today, Nance?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, Nance. We started the song off, the segment off with Jimmy Buffett's Cheeseburger in Paradise. And, we're getting into the spring season. A lot of people's diets seem to change as the seasons change. And I'd like to talk to you about proper dieting getting us into the summertime, as well as superfoods. And Nance, what happens to the body that it seems that as we get into the summertime, our cravings change?
I believe what happens is that we start to move more, because usually when the sun starts shining, we feel like walking more, we feel like going out more, and then we get hungrier for, we smell the barbecues going, and we get hungry for those barbecued hamburgers or steaks, and so I believe that's what happens. I don't really think anything in the body changes. I think it's just that we're changing our habits.
All right, Nance. Now, as a doctor of natural medicine, how do you suggest we handle these cravings? Like the smell of a burning meat on a barbecue to a guy, it's like, oh, as Homer Simpson would do. But, what can we do to thwart that and actually concentrate on food that's healthy for us? Because as you and I discussed last time you were on the show, the human body, garbage in, garbage out. So we've got to put good stuff into our body to have a better lifestyle. So what can we do?
Well, first of all, I think, not allowing you to enjoy something that you enjoy is wrong, because you should treat yourself. So if you do have a craving for a barbecued hamburger, have one, by all means. But try not to eat the bun, for example, or don't eat a white bun. Make sure you get a good organic beef if you can. The problem with our beef, it's all farmed, and there's so much hormones, and there's so much, other garbage, antibiotics and everything in our meats that's affecting us. So if you can get organic meat, try that instead. So those kind of things are what I would recommend. I mean, don't ignore your cravings. Go for it, but just try to limit it. Instead of having 2 great big hamburgers, have one and watch the buns.
All right, stand by, Dr. McLeod. You and I have to take our break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation Dr. Nance McLeod is our special guest. Here's the telephone number, 905-468-9041. That's 905-468-9041. And her website is www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. And we have a new website that we're going to be promoting and introducing to the X Zone Nation the next time Dr. McLeod is on with us, and we're excited about that. Dr. Nance McLeod and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and Talkstar Radio. Don't go away.
They eat the same thing again and again. Warm beer and bread, they say it could raise a dead. Well, yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy, and I feel like I'm loving you. Love you such a sweet thing, good enough to eat thing, and just what I'm gonna do. Ooh, I love to hold you, ooh, I love to kiss you, ooh, I love to love you so. Ooh, love is sweeter, sweeter than a sugar, ooh, I love I won't let go. Yeah, yummy, 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 I got love in my
Dr. Nance McLeod is our special guest. Her website is www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. And her telephone number is 905-468-9041. Now, before I get to Dr. McLeod, I was just given some programming information. Starting this coming Monday on the Talkstar Radio Network, because of the high demand by our affiliates for the X Zone Radio Show, listen to this, X Zone Nation. You'll be able to catch the show starting at, our show that usually goes on from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. Then the show from 10 to 2 will be repeated from 2 until 6. And then the show will be repeated a third time in a 24-hour period from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. X Zone Nation, you are making this show the fastest growing show in radio today. Thank you, guys. Dr. Nance McLeod's our special guest. And Nance, we were talking about, the great smell of hamburgers. And you know what? I'm a sucker in the summertime. I love barbecuing. But, I love barbecuing in what I call a responsible way. I don't like putting too much gunk on it, stuff that I consider not to be very healthy. I love vegetables. I love salad. I would rather bake a potato than boil it. And I also love making soups with vegetables. The last time you and I were talking, you talked about superfoods. Now, where does superfoods fall into the dieting aspect, and how can they help us?
Well, superfoods can be just about any organic fruit or vegetable, as well as some very unique ones like raw chocolate, for example. Most people say, "Oh, I can't eat chocolate because it's there's too much sugar and stuff in it." But raw chocolate, like an actual cacao bean, has no sugar in it whatsoever and no dairy. It does have some fat in it, but it's the good fat and not the bad fat. And plus, a raw chocolate coffee bean or cacao bean, has all the magnesium you need, the manganese you need, all the trace minerals that you could possibly imagine. So when you actually eat a handful of raw chocolate, your body gets satisfied and it doesn't really need anything else. When we eat, like a bag of chips, for example, we'll eat a bag of chips, and then 20 minutes later, we're still hungry. And that's because our body's saying, hey, I need some magnesium, I need some potassium. So the body's crying out for these trace minerals. And that's what superfoods will do for you. So adding stuff like raw chocolate to your diet, goji berries, Inca berries, Salvia hispania, those kind of things to your diet, it can just really just boost your immune system, boost your metabolism, and you won't have the cravings for so much of the bad foods. And barbecuing, I mean, you can barbecue vegetables.
Sure
I
can,
barbecue tons of vegetables every year, and in fact, I look forward to it. I barbecue zucchini, eggplant, peppers, all the different peppers, bell peppers. You can barbecue potatoes, slice them up and spray them, put a little bit of rosemary in them. There's so much you can do on the barbecue. It doesn't always have to be the bad stuff.
Now, you were mentioning organic food. Are all organic foods superfoods, Doctor?
Not all organic foods would be considered superfoods, but if you're eating as much organic raw foods as possible, you have the better chance of getting more minerals. Organic foods actually have 20 to 50% more minerals in them than regular farmed foods that are like in the grocery stores type of thing. So it's the trace minerals that we need to feed our body, to rebuild our body. And that's really what we're missing, because you can't isolate, well, they do. They isolate minerals and they put them in pills, but our body doesn't know how to absorb it that way. You need to have the minerals from food to actually absorb them properly.
What's the difference between a good fat and a bad fat?
Well, a bad fat is something that's been processed, cooked. For example, anything that is... most of the stuff that we buy, like the vegetable oils and that kind of thing, they've already been cooked, and all the enzymes and all the good stuff that was in them is gone. So it's actually hydrogenated, and they'll talk about the foods that are the fats that are not good for you, and they're the fats that actually are rancid and been overcooked and actually have went bad. But that's what we use a lot, instead of using the raw or organic olive oil, for example, or raw organic coconut oil. That's an amazing oil, and it's great to cook with, and it's great to just spread on your toast.
So I guess the secret is to make sure that we buy. Well, it's no secret. The wise thing to do is buy oils that have zero trans fats in them. Exactly,
and oils that are raw. That's the key, because if they're raw, they have all the enzymes and everything you need to break them down. The foods that are cooked, like the oils that have been cooked, the body can't break it down, so it just turns into fat cells.
If we know all this, Doctor, why is it that food manufacturers still use the fats and the other additives that are no good for the human body?
Well, because it's the food industry. It's money. They're not thinking about health. They're thinking about how much money they can make. Recently there was just a recall on a ton of foods because the flavoring they were actually putting in, because they had to put flavoring back into the food, if you can imagine, actually had salmonella in it. And so they were, the food industry is poisoning us all the time. Just by being careless and just by doing the cheapest thing they can do to get the food out there.
So wait a minute. Let me see if I understand what you just said, Doctor. The food industry had a recall because it was putting flavor back into foods, and the flavoring that it was using had salmonella?
Yes, exactly. That was just recent. It was actually happening in Vancouver, and I have heard that it's happening here in Ontario now too. It was a recall of and stuff that you would think might be healthy, like veggie chips, but it's all processed stuff that they were using. It's mostly processed foods that they were putting this flavoring back in, because they cook the foods until there's no taste, and then they have to do something to make it more flavorful.
That's scary. That is really scary. Now, I was talking to somebody yesterday about genetically modified food. And they were saying, what a great thing this is, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, what are you talking about? Nobody knows what damage or what harm can come to us later down by eating these foods. And I was wondering if you could shed some light on the GMOs.
Well, I totally agree with you. We don't know what's going to happen with these foods and how these foods are going to affect our body. I've always been a strong believer that if you're going to eat an apple the way, the universe has made it. An apple off a tree, and eat it that way. Don't eat an apple that's been all processed and cooked and everything else. So I always recommend that people eat food the way it was made, by Mother Nature, and not food that's made by man, because that any kind of food that's been made by man type of thing has been processed or cooked, or something has been added to it to make it last longer, spread, be in the grocery store, look better. Recently there was just a talk up here, I'm up in Southampton right now, about how they're trying to make apples taste better because they were so busy trying to make apples look good that they lost their taste. And so people aren't buying apples anymore. So now they're trying to make apples taste better because instead of worrying about what they look like.
In your practice as a doctor of natural medicine, do you see any cases that come to you where the person has ingested, let's say, non-organic foods? Let's talk about fruit, for example, that have been sprayed with fungicides or whatever else, what other fertilizers that have actually caused damage to their body.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. A lot of the diseases that we have today that are coming, like diabetes, MS, like even heart disease, a lot of these diseases, and cancer, of course, a lot of these diseases are caused by these foods that have been processed and, all the, poisons that we are putting on our foods and then we're eating. And it's not just what we're putting on our foods, it's what we're giving to the animals that we're eating as well. That's all affecting the physical body. So yes, absolutely. I have dealt with Russians that were in Chernobyl, and I've tested them, and I've tested people that were not in Chernobyl, and a lot of times they have the same side effects, and it's because of the poisons that they're putting in their body.
Unreal.
Yeah, just changing your diet to 60 to 80% raw. You don't have to be a raw foodist, but changing your diet to 60 to 80% raw foods, where you're eating raw nuts and seeds, fresh fruits and vegetables, and you're doing that on a regular basis, and you're buying organic as much as you can. I know you can't always buy organic, but you buy organic as much as you can. You grow as much as you can in your own garden. The change you see in people when they start doing that, and adding, of course, some superfoods, some raw chocolate, some goji berries, Inca berries to their diet, the change in them in a matter of a month to 6 weeks is amazing. Their energy goes up. They start feeling better. Their eyes are brighter. They start thinking clearer. They're not going through depression as much. All that is happening just because they've just changed their diet, just that little bit.
All right, Doctor, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exo Nation, our very special guest this hour, and Dr. McLeod joins us every second week here in the X Zone because we care about you, and so does Dr. McLeod. Her website, schoolofnewmedicine.com. That's www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. And if you'd like to call up Dr. McLeod for a consultation, she's a great lady. Her telephone number is area code 905-468-9041. That's 905-468-9041. Dr. McLeod and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and X Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Eric Rawls of Cosmoverse.com, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Hi, this is Blade Runner, and you are listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, I'm Laura Sabrin of Feast to Fields Organic Vineyard in Jordan, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, my name is Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal talk radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
All right, everybody, gather around. The Candyman is here. Now, what kind of candy you want? Sweet chocolate, chocolate malt candy, gumdrops, anything you want. You've come to the right man because I'm the Candyman. Who can take a sunrise? Sprinkle it with dew. Cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two. The Candyman. The Candyman. Ooh, the Candyman can. The Candyman can. The Candyman can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Makes the world taste good. Who can take a rainbow? Who can take a rainbow? Wrap it in a sigh. Wrap it in a sigh. Soak it in the sun and make a groovy lemon pie. The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman can. The Candyman can. The Candyman.
Dr. Nance McLeod is our special guest. She is with, her website, I should say, is the www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. That's www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. Her telephone number is area code 905-468-9041. That's 905-468-9041. Dr. McLeod has been working with natural medicine since 1979 and is one of Canada's leading specialists in the field. She operates clinics in Virgil and Southampton, Ontario, and teaches through the Ancient Journeys School of New Medicine. And in 2004, Dr. McLeod was honored with the Order of Excellence by the World Organization of Natural Medicine for her scientific work and dedication to natural medicine, and for her work at Clinics for Humanity. Once again, her website is www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. Telephone number is area code 968-9041. Dr. McLeod, I understand you've got a list of 11 things people can do simply to
Release fat to help lose weight. They're very easy things to do. It's as simple as eating, 5 or 6 smaller meals a day instead of eating 3 big ones. That allows your body and your metabolism to work harder. What we mostly do, and many of us, and I've been guilty myself, is miss meals.
Yep.
And then your body goes in starvation mode, and it slows down your metabolism. And then when you do eat, you probably end up eating too much. That's what happens to me. So by just eating some small meals a day, one thing that I do is I mix my own trail mix, and that'll be available on the website. And it has the raw chocolate, the goji berries, the Inca berries. It has almonds and pumpkin seeds and all that stuff. And just a handful of that is enough nutrition to keep your body going. It gives you energy, and it satisfies you. And so that's a great little small meal to have, as well as just having an apple and a piece of cheese, or a shot of algae, for example, like a superfood algae. You can buy it frozen, and you defrost a little bit at a time, and you just take a little shot of that. That's pure protein. That's a great snack to have, and that's like a meal.
Now, is that why breakfast is the most important meal of our day? Because we're just starting our metabolic system back up after it being in sleep mode?
Absolutely. I strongly believe that you should always have, and many people have heard this many times, but you always have a breakfast for a king, I believe they call it, and then lunch for the prince, and supper for a pauper. So you always have your biggest meals early in the day, so your metabolism can burn it off, and plus that's when your body needs it. You haven't eaten anything for 10, 12 hours in most cases. So when breakfast comes, you need to give your body some food.
Is it a good idea to eat a snack before you go to bed, doctor?
For some people, they can do that. Most of the time, I recommend for most people that they don't eat after 7:30, 8 o'clock. But there are some people who actually need some food before they go to bed to help them sleep better. But most people, the digestion, especially if they have something large before they go to bed, the digestion actually will start keeping them up because their body's trying to work and digest, and they don't really get into a nice deep sleep. So it doesn't always work for everybody.
How about taking a what is it? You know the shot glasses that people use for mixing drinks? I was told that if you take a shot glass of apple cider vinegar or malt vinegar, this is a great thing to help your blood thin.
Yep, actually that will thin your blood, absolutely. If you're not on any pharmaceutical blood thinners, that's fine. Also, what that will do is will create more of a pH balance. Even though apple cider vinegar is very acidic, it will create more alkaline in your body. And so you can actually balance your pH, which is very important. It's very important not to be too alkaline, and it's very important not to be too acidic.
What's the significance of the pH level in the body? We all know about pH levels in our swimming pools and in our hot tubs, but what does it play in our bodies?
Well, what it does is it keeps our body in balance. So if our pH balance is perfect, which is 7.33, that's the ideal pH balance. If it's perfect, then our body can absorb nutrients better. Our body can work better. The organs work better. The blood is thinner, so it flows better. Our brain works better. All of our internal pharmacy, as we call it, works better in our body. So it just puts everything into the norm, and most of the time we're working either too acidic or too alkaline and pushing our body in a stressful state.
A few seconds ago, you and I were talking about breakfast, and you even said algae, which brought a question to my mind. I love sushi. Is sushi good?
In most cases, yes. If sushi is made properly, it's usually made with organic. Seaweed. Seaweed is probably one of the best superfoods in the world. It's loaded with iodine. It's loaded with tons of trace minerals that we don't even know of yet. And it's a great. I love like a seafood salad, like a seaweed salad. It's excellent. So sushi is good if it's done right. If the raw fish is processed right, everything is done right. Sushi is very good for you.
Sleep deprivation is a big thing with people today because the mind just keeps on rolling. You get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're at Tim Hortons at 6:02 with a iPod in one hand, cell phone in the other, and you're texting with your toes, so to speak. You get home 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and there's still 2 or 3 hours of work to do at home. You lay down, you're all keyed up, and you know that you've got less than 6 hours sleep ahead of you, and yet you just watch that clock all night long. What kind of superfood, or what can a person do to help key down naturally at night, Doctor?
Well, first of all, is try to avoid all the artificial stimulants because that's what really hurts us. I'm not saying that you can't have a cup of coffee in a day, but if you're drinking 10 or 12 cups of coffee in a day, then of course that's going to affect your sleep at night. And it could be even tea as well. Coffee just has more caffeine than tea. So that's an artificial stimulant. Another artificial stimulant is pops and sugars. All that affects our body. One of the things I recommend to most people who have a hard time sleeping is not to have any caffeine after 3 o'clock. I know that's really difficult because that's usually people usually want their caffeine by, at 3, 4 o'clock, that's when their energy starts going down. But if you're eating good foods and you're getting all the trace minerals you need, your body will keep working until you stop it. The other thing to do is learn to meditate. And what I try to do is I have like an hour before I go to bed. That's my hour. So I do 20 minutes, for example, to make my list for the next day. By making my list for the next day, that puts my mind at ease. I'm not thinking about this and that and the next thing. Then I take 20 minutes to prep myself to get ready for bed, brush my teeth, all that stuff. And then I take 20 minutes to meditate. And by doing that, I have a good night's sleep. I wake up refreshed in the morning, and it seems to work for me, and it seems to work for a lot of my patients. Just getting into that habit that 1 hour before you go to bed, this is what you do. You don't watch TV. You don't do anything else. That's what you do. That's your hour.
TV in a bedroom. What's your take on that?
I don't like the energy of a TV in the bedroom. My ex-husband always had a TV in the bedroom, and I always had a hard time sleeping. I don't recommend it. I think a bedroom should be just for sleep. Mm-hmm. So I recommend that you have a TV elsewhere, because a TV can keep you up. You end up watching more TV, or you fall asleep with the TV on. And, if you know anything about hypnotherapy, all those commercials are like hypnotherapy. So you might be asleep, but your subconscious mind is picking up all that information from all the commercials, the news, everything else. So it is best to not have a TV in the room, in your bedroom. That's what I recommend. Exonation,
Dr. Nance McLeod is my special guest at this hour. Dr. McLeod joins us every second week here on the X-Zone because we want to help you stay fit. We want you to take care of yourselves because we want you to be around for a long, long time. Now, if you'd like to contact Dr. McLeod, her telephone number is 905-468-9041. That's 905-468-9041. And her website is www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. That's www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. I received an email after our last show together, Dr. McLeod. A listener in Kelowna, British Columbia, wants me to ask you about carb-free diets. What is your opinion on them?
Well, I think we get too many carbs in our diet. However, carb-free diets are not good because we do need some carbs. The carbs we don't need is the breads and the sugars and that kind of thing. The carbs we do need is the fresh vegetables and fresh fruit. So we do need that in our diet. Some of these high-protein diets are not taking in consideration what it's doing to our body in the long term. You might lose weight if you go in a high-protein diet, but you will end up having all kinds of other issues like illnesses and other problems. So I don't recommend carb-free diets at all, but I do recommend getting away from the breads, the sugars, and those kind of carbs, the pops. Those kind of carbs are the kind of carbs you want to stay away from.
And Exonation, if you have a question you'd like us to ask Dr. McLeod the next time she's on with us, send me an email, xzone@xzoneradio.com, and in the subject line, just put for Dr. McLeod. And the next time the doctor's on with us, we'll ask her your question. The air that we breathe. Now, there are certain parts of Canada. You're in beautiful Niagara. The air is a lot cleaner than it is in Hamilton or Montreal or Toronto. How does pollution play in the role of our health on a daily basis, Doctor?
Oh, pollution is just terrible, and we breathe so shallow as well. So many times, and especially in areas of Hamilton and Toronto, I know that sometimes there's only maybe 15% oxygen in the air, and we really need to be breathing in anywhere from 35% oxygen and up. So what I do suggest to people is get out into the woods and go for walks in the park and go to places where there's water flowing, because where any place there's water flowing or large bodies of water, then you're going to be breathing in some negative ions, and those negative ions will reoxygenate your body. Getting a negative ion generator in your house. I mean, that's probably one of the best investments you can do for your health is breathe those in while you sleep. And that's another way to help you sleep is having a negative ion generator in your bedroom.
How does that work?
What it does is actually will create negative ions, and negative ions is what gives our body energy, and it actually oxygenates our cells. So like places like Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is probably one of the largest natural negative ion generator in the world.
Wow.
Because of all the water that flows over Niagara Falls. But places like, I'm up here in Southampton, and Lake Huron is a huge, like you walk along the lake. That's why most people feel good at the beach, is because they're breathing in negative ions from the lakes and from the water, the ocean.
Is that why people have a natural attraction to water?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it makes us feel better.
Mm.
That's why when the sun shines, it makes us feel better. When the sun shines, it actually creates more negative ions in the air. So we feel better. When it's a dark, dingy day, pollution is pushed down. We have more allergies. We don't feel like doing anything. We're tired. But then as soon as the sun shines, our energy changes.
Dr. McLeod, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Dr. Nance McLeod is our special guest. The good doctor joins us every second week here on the X Zone. If you'd like to call up Dr. McLeod for a private consultation, 905-468-9041. That's area code 905-468-9041. And her website is schoolofnewmedicine.com. The doctor and I return after this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone for Friday, March 19th in the year 2010. Don't go away.
The Candyman can. The Candyman can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Makes the world taste good.
Who can take a rainbow?
Who can take a rainbow?
Wrap it in a sigh.
Wrap it in a sigh.
Soak it in the sun and make a groove.
Sunny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sunny, you smiled at me and really eased the pain. Now the dark days are done and the bright days are here. My sunny one shines so sincere. Sunny one so true. I love you.
Dr. Nance McLeod's our special guest. And Nance, is that why after a thunderstorm and a lightning storm, the air is so fresh because of the ionization that the lightning has caused?
Exactly. That's exactly why. I like to open up my windows after, even during a thunderstorm, if I can open it up where it doesn't get wet inside, just to get those negative ions in my house.
Now it all makes sense. Nance, what are the 11 things to-do list to release fat?
Okay. Well, number one, of course, we talked about the eat smaller and more frequent meals. Another thing is to drink more water. We really need to drink water to flush away the waste products. A lot of people don't drink that much water. Drinking at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day is very important.
Is there such a thing as drinking too much water?
Yes, absolutely. You can drink too much water, and if you're drinking empty water, like water that has nothing in it, like distilled water, that flushes away a lot of your nutrients. So I usually recommend that you put a pinch of Celtic sea salt in your water, or you can put a cinnamon stick in your water, or you can even buy liquid trace minerals or mineral drops type of thing that you can put in your water. Okay. I really do recommend that you put something in your water just to allow your body to absorb it better.
All right, so that's number 2.
Number 3 is move your body. Keep your body moving. A lot of people just become couch potatoes. Start an exercise program, walk to the post office or to your corner store, take stairs instead of elevators. I know a lot of people hear it, but they don't do it. Eating more protein. We talked a little bit about low-carb diets, but eating more protein is needed. But it doesn't have to be meat. It can be plant protein like algae, goji berries, hemp seed, bee pollen, pumpkin seeds, fresh sprouts of any kind. And, of course, you can have lean meats and eggs and beans and all that. That's great protein. Don't let yourself get hungry, which we talked about when we talked about the first one.
Yeah.
Eating 60 to 80% raw food. We already spoke about that. In restaurants, either share your entree with a friend, because, sometimes we get so much food on the plate, or, when you get your entree, ask the server to bring you a doggy bag and take half of that and put it in the doggy bag and just eat half of your entree. And then you have lunch for the next day. Eating more fiber. Salvia hispania is a superfood that I recommend to a lot of people. Taking a tablespoon of that with some juice before you eat a meal. It fills you up. It gives you more fiber. You have better bowel movements, and you're a lot healthier. Waiting 20 minutes between servings. Before you go to get your second plate full of food, wait 20 minutes because it takes that long for your brain to kind of catch up to say, I'm full. And cheat on your diet. I absolutely recommend that you do allow yourself once or twice a week to cheat. Have something that you really want, whether it be a bowl of ice cream or that hamburger or whatever it is. Allow yourself to have, don't make yourself suffer, because that just will make you crave it even more. And eat chocolate. I eat the raw chocolate beans. Add them to your diet. They're a natural appetite suppressant. They're a natural energy booster without stimulating your nervous system, and they taste great.
Hey, Doctor, we've run out of time for tonight, but I do look forward to having you back on the show in 2 weeks from today. Dr. Nancy McLeod, thank you very much, Doctor, for being with us. Always great talking to you.
Thank you.
Exonation, if you'd like to contact Dr. McLeod, 905-468-9041. That's 905-468-9041. And her website, www.schoolofnewmedicine.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X-Zone continues, right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.